How y'all doing? I'm James, and welcome back to Storytime with James. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave me a comment if you like. All right, this one's called Ask and You Shall Receive. Yes. Yes, this story is set back in 1991. That's when I used to work at UPS, the Jeff Street Hub. Yeah, Jeff Street Hub. I was semi doing security and a little work inside. Well, they had us cutting seals off of trailers, and man, it was cold outside. This was Chicago. This was back in Chicago, Illinois. Man, I'm telling you, man, it was brutally cold out there. It was like below zero, like about 10 or 15 below zero. And we were out there cutting seals. So we had to take turns going out every time another truck would come, which was every 15 minutes. A truck was coming in, and it was close to holiday season. So it was packed in there. So we had to go out, take the ladder, climb up the ladder, and cut the top seal, and then cut the bottom seal. And man, it was brutal, man. Your beard will freeze. If you got a mustache, it will freeze. It was free. You get frostbite. You get frostbite out there. The conditions were very bad. The job conditions were very bad. But we continued to work. Somebody had to do it. Yeah. So then later on, we were all back there in the office talking about the conditions and everything like that. So we all decided to get together and go to the boss's office. Go to the boss's office and express our feelings on what's going on, the conditions. So it was like it was a crew of 15 of us. We all went upstairs to his office. And then we got there, we knocked at the door. And he said, "Yes." And I said, and nobody said nothing. So I said, "This is James and stuff. We want to speak with you on some conditions that's going on here." He said, "Come on in, come on in." So I opened the door and walked in. Then I noticed nobody came in with me. So I went and looked back out the door. They were gone. Yes, they were gone. Everybody left. So he said, "Come on, come on, come here, come here, come here." So I walked up. Now I'm scared. Now I was getting ready to run out myself. I was trapped. So I walked up. Said, "What seems to be your concerns, young man? What seems to be your concern?" I said, "Well, we kind of concerned about the conditions and which we're working under." He said, "What conditions are those? What conditions?" I said, "Well, we wanted to tell you that." He said, "Listen, no, I don't see nobody else with you. Where are they?" I said, "I guess they went back downstairs or something." He said, "Tell me what you want. What do you want? Not them. What do you want?" I told him, I said, "Well, man, well, we only getting $7 an hour, you know,
What?
and we want more money, and we want the conditions to get a little better. We don't want to have to constantly go out and cut seals and stuff like that. But we can do it. It can be done, but we don't want to have to constantly go out and cut the seals. But the main thing is we want more money. More money." He said, "No, we were not talking about we. We're talking about you. Okay? We're talking about you. Now, what do you want? I said, well, we want a little money, a little more money, and longer lunches. We only got 30 minutes lunch. We want to have an hour lunch, you know, and a few more incentives too, you know, like vacation time and all of this. He said, and he started writing. He said, okay. He said, James. He said, I said, yes. He said, James, look, I like you because you're the only one had the gumption to come to me. You know, that's all they had to do was come to me. So you, since you're here, how would you like your position? I said, what? He said, it pays more money. It pays $15 an hour and everything. Now, $15 an hour was very good for 1991. Okay? It was very good, you know. He said, we pay you $15 an hour, okay? I said, what? He said, and you would not be back with the security and stuff like that. You will be in-house. I said, he said, now, I want you to be my high-value clerk. High-value clerk. And he said this was consist of you getting a special package out of the trailer. You don't have to move no boxes or nothing. You just stand there and let them throw the boxes down the belt until you see the specific package with a red label on it. Then you get the high-value package, and then you take it to the outbound trailer. I said, yeah. He said, it's going to be effective tomorrow. Tomorrow you'll start. All right? Tomorrow you'll start. And you'll have an hour lunch. And you'll have everything, you know. So I said, wow. Thank you. Thank you. He said, all right. Now, is there anything else? Anything else? I said, no, that's about it. That's about it. You know, he said, all right, young man, do a good job out there. When you get to working with this high values, do a very good job, okay? I said, yes, sir. He said, all right, go. So I just left out. He gave me paperwork and everything. So I had the papers. I was reading the papers. I said, oh my goodness. Then I walked downstairs and I said, where did y'all go? He said, everybody said, man, no, man, we don't want to get fired or nothing like that. I said, so y'all let me go up there by myself? They said, well, hey. I said, well, I'm no longer going to be working with y'all. He said, oh man, see, and people whispered, oh, I told you going to get fired. I told you you get fired. I said, no, I'm not fired. I've got a position now. Yeah. And they said, what happened? What happened? I said, well, he gave me a high value clerk position, and he's giving me $15 an hour, and he's giving me an hour lunch. He said, what about us? What about us? I said, I don't know, man. He ain't saying nothing about y'all. So everybody started getting mad at me. They thought I went up there by myself to talk to him for me. So I said, well, all right. That's it, man. So tomorrow I start, you know. And they were super mad, man. But I wasn't mad, though, because I didn't want to cut seals anymore. I didn't want to cut those seals anymore. You know, because it was brutal out there. So after that, the next day I started as a high-value clerk. And we had a little small office. It had 3 desks in there. One of them was my desk, and the other one was the supervisor of the high-value clerks and another guy there. So I sat at the desk, and they told me what I had to do and everything like that. I had to go and track a package, get the package, take it to the outbound trailer, and then that's it. And I had to do that all day, you know. So I used to run. I would run and get a package, run it back, put it. I was running all over the hub, you know. So I don't know, man, but I did that for a while too, and then I had to bring the shipping label over. I had to fax everything over to the next hub which it was going to, and then the packages get sent to the next hub. You know, it wasn't no hard job. It's just a lot of running. You know, so I would be running back and forth all day. You know, getting the package. I'd be standing there like this while they unloading the truck, a whole truck, and then I had to look at each box. And then when I see that one with that red tag on there, I would take it out. So it was a sweet job. It was a sweet job, you know. But everybody, they had animosity towards me. They had a huge animosity towards me because they figured that I went up and talked for myself. They talked for myself. I tried to talk for all of us, but he cut me off and said, don't talk about them. Talk about yourself. We're talking about you. Okay? So, man, because, man, when I was cutting those seals, man, my beard would freeze up. It'd be frost on it, frost on my mustache and everything. And then sometimes my fingers were so cold that I thought I was frostbit. So, and they were still cutting seals because sometimes I used to go past there and they'd be out there, clink, 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 clink. They'd be cutting seals, you know. Man, I'm just man, I gotta tell y'all, man, it was a crazy situation though. But ever since then, I learned a valuable lesson. Don't do a class action thing or something like that with everybody supposed to have your back, because they won't have your back. They won't have your back. Do it yourself. Yeah, do it yourself. All right? So I go to the person myself. Even now, if somebody, they doing something that I don't like or nothing like that, I'll go straight to them myself. Or if I'm working under conditions that's unfavorable, I'll go to them myself. Yeah. And they respect you more when you go to them yourself. You know. All right, you guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave me a comment if you like. And hit that bell notification. Hit that bell notification so that you know every time I drop another video. And share. Share my videos with your family. Share my videos with your friends. Share my videos with your loved ones. And even share it with your enemies. Peace. Adios. Salamat. Do it yourself.